Today I want to do a quick video on how you're planning on getting traffic to your new blog or even your existing blog. Now, there are three ways to do it in our opinion. The first way, which is the cheapest way but also takes the longest, is through organic traffic that you build to your blog or your website. Now, how you build organic traffic is primarily a focus of keywords that you choose to write your blog about, the articles in your blog. What you want to do is you want to try to find keywords that you can rank in without too much competition. Just to give you an example, let's say you have a blog on football. Well, you wouldn't want to write just a blog article on football because it's too hard to rank in. There's way too much competition. So what you'd want to do is pick something more narrow in order to do an article. For instance, you might want to say, what are some of the craziest plays in football? Or what are the strangest scoring plays in football? Or what are the highest scoring games in football? You want to do an article on something like that so that you would have a more specific search term that would have less competition overall from other blog writers in order to get that organic traffic. Now, there are a number of ways that you can determine how to pick those articles or those keywords to choose. We use a keyword search tool, and I'm going to put the link to it below in the description so you can take a look at it. It offers some free searches so you can get some idea of how different search terms would rank and how easy it would be for you to rank in those terms. Now, what you may find out is some of these terms only say they'll give you, say, 100 visitors per month, but you have a very, very high chance of ranking in them. And by ranking, I'm talking about the first page in Google. Well, if you write 10 articles that bring in 100 viewers per month, then 10 articles has got you 1,000 viewers per month already. And some of them will do better than that, some will do worse. Typically I have found that when I do blogs that probably goes back to the 80-20 rule, that 80% of my traffic on my website and my blogs come from 20% of my articles. For some reason, you hit that perfect, mix of keywords and topics and you get the right subject matter out there. You rank very high in it, and about 20% of your blog articles and most of your traffic will come through those. And once you find those, you can flesh those out more. You can add to them to make them rank better, or you can do other articles similar to it. Don't just copy them because Google will punish you for duplicate content. So you're going to have to add to it in some way to make it better and bigger and to continue to grow through that organic traffic. Now, like I said, this is the cheapest way to do it, but it does require the most work on your part. There's always a plus and a minus to everything. If it's cheaper, probably you're going to have to work harder. And trying to grow your website through organic growth or your blog through organic growth does take longer. It does require more work and effort on your part, and it's something you're going to have to commit yourself to. You're going to have to continually put articles on. You're going to have to stay, keep your website current, keep your blog current. I would suggest if you're just starting out, maybe do 3 posts a week. One day perhaps you could get to 1 or 2 posts a week. But I would still keep that website fresh, because if you stop posting to it, yes, you may still have certain articles that'll get ranked. But some of your borderline articles, Google will knock off because you're not staying active, and they don't see your site as an active site. So you're going to have to put some effort into it. Another question I always get is, how long of a blog should I do? How many words should I have in it? And that's really hard to answer. With the right keywords and the right website, I've seen 500 to 700 word articles rank. On my website, the ones I have found that actually have ranked the best are between 700 and 1,500 words. But those, again, they tend to hit some sort of keyword or topic that other people are not writing on. So that helps me to really get ranked faster on them. I like to do a variety of posts and a variety of length of posts. I may have some that has as many as 3,000 words. I typically don't do any that have less than 500. So probably around that 700 range, if you were to look at some of my blogs, some of my websites, you'd probably see that 700 range is kind of the go-to area. But there are longer ones out there. Again, for me to do 1,000, 1,500 word is not uncommon. You'll find a lot of those on my sites. The 2,500 to 3,500 words are a little more rare, and typically they're part of a larger project that I do. That perhaps I'm writing an ebook, and those are part of that series of articles. which is another great thing you can do with your blog as you grow, is you can turn your longer articles into ebooks, or even flesh out some of your smaller ones into ebooks. So there are other ways that you can grow your blog that can take advantage of the effort you're putting into it to generate that organic traffic. So it's not only cheaper, but it could also give you future ways to make money doing the content. And if you really like to write, you can also write for other people as a side hustle or a gig where that you're producing content for other people. So there's a lot of advantages to trying to organically grow your site. The other way you can do it is through pay-per-click advertising. Now you can waste a lot of money on pay-per-click advertising, so you have to be very, very, very careful if you're going to do pay-per-click. I'm going to put a link below that has some free courses that you can get into that will show you not only how to generate content and grow your site organically, but it will also teach you a little bit about pay-per-click. Now, pay-per-click is more of an advanced type of thing to do, again, because you can waste a lot of money on it if you aren't careful with it. I like to do most of my pay-per-click on Bing. It has a smaller number of viewers out there, a smaller number of users that are seeing it, but you can typically get your keywords that you're focusing on for your pay-per-click advertising at a cheaper rate than you can, say, in Google AdSense. And then once I get a good fleshed out campaign that works and is converting for me, then I would switch over to do both that and Google AdSense using the same keywords, because I found Google AdSense is more expensive, so I typically don't start with it to test my programs. But if you're going to do pay-per-click in order to grow your blog, I strongly suggest that you use some sort of a landing page and a sales funnel. I'm going to put that link below also for you. It's one of the funnels that I use, and what that does for you is it will bring in the person that clicks on your pay-per-click advertising. It will get the email address for you, and then it will send them to your blog or something other that you want to send them to, or an offer page of some sort if you're trying to sell something. But if it's your blog, it will send them to whichever blog entry that you're trying to get them to, which normally would be a specific blog that you wrote, not necessarily the home page of your website, because you're going to be trying to get them to click on your keywords that you're advertising for in order to get to some specific information. So, but what you want to do, again, if you're going to do pay-per-click advertising, you really need to get the email addresses, because you're going to need those later as you grow your site and start doing other things. And once you have those, you can send as you do blogs, you can email the people on your website your new blog entries, which will bring them back to your site. So, to me, I would never do pay-per-click advertising unless I had some sort of a landing page and a sales funnel set up. And like I said, I'll put some links below that will teach you how to do that if you're interested in setting up a blog or a sales funnel. But if you want to do pay-per-click, just be very careful with it. Study up on it. I'm going to put some links to some courses below that will get you some information on pay-per-click advertising, because you want to make sure you do it right. Set a very small budget to start with. Because you don't want to blow through $100 in a day. I'll typically set a $5 a day budget if I'm doing pay-per-click, and then I may grow it from there depending on how many clicks I'm getting, and also I might raise the bids later. On Bing, I'll typically start with a 10-cent bid on a keyword and then go up from there. But I stay away from the really competitive keywords, the ones that cost you like $1 to get. I just stay away from those. I choose my keywords when I'm doing pay-per-click the same way I do choose my keywords when I'm writing content for my blog. I try to pick the keywords that don't have as much competition, because I can get them cheaper, and then I'll bring people to my site for less money, as opposed to compete with the big people out there that are paying $1 per click. Because if you're starting out doing pay-per-click, that's not what you want to do. But probably the most important thing, two most important things I want to tell you about pay-per-click and reiterate again is, number one, you can waste a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing at it, so you really need to research it. And number two, I would never recommend doing a pay-per-click program without some sort of a landing page and a sales funnel, because those emails are more valuable to you than a single click to your blog. Now, the third way that you can advertise your blog is again, it's both easy and cheap. Take advantage of your existing social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. When you do some sort of a blog entry, post it to all of those. start a Facebook page. And you can also, similar to pay-per-click advertising, you can advertise on Facebook. And the Facebook advertising is probably the cheapest that you can do. So it is something that you can get into in connection with pay-per-click, or you can do it on its own, through Facebook and Facebook advertising. Sorry, I got my tongue tied there. But either way, if you're going to do any kind of paid, again, I want to go back to the landing page and sales funnel. Those are very, very important if you're going to be paying for visitors and for web traffic. You really don't need to skimp on that, and you really need to have that set up beforehand. So I would highly, highly recommend doing that. So, just to recap, you can do content, organic growth of your blog, which I highly recommend. It's the cheapest, although it's probably the hardest from a work standpoint because you have to write the articles, but it's cheap to do, and you can flesh out your site, and you're probably going to do that before you're even ready to pay-per-click anyway. Second thing would be pay-per-click. It's the most expensive, but it's fairly easy. And then third would be social media advertising. It's the cheapest, and it's the easiest. So, you may have a limited amount of growth you can get there, just depending on how big your following is on all of your social media sites. But you certainly should go there and use it and take advantage of it. And if you have any questions or comments, like I said, please let me know below. I'd be glad to answer them. I'd like to see comments on the videos. If there are other things you want me to do videos on in the future, let me know.